Former Vice President Joe Biden invoked the memory of Charlottesville, Virginia. In his 2020 presidential campaign video, Biden criticized President Trump for his response to the white nationalist rallies that took place there 2 years ago. The president said that there were fine people on both sides. One woman, HETER, died in the clashes after a proclaimed neo-Nazi drove his car into a crowd of counter-protest. HETER's mother, Susan Bro, joins me now from Charlottesville. I want to thank you very much for joining us, Susan. What was your initial reaction to the Vice President using the Charlottesville rallies in his campaign video?
Well, I was surprised just because I didn't know about it. But other than that, it was just, this is politics. This is what people do. And he brought up an important issue. I wasn't particularly dismayed about it. I've been told that I was dreadfully upset and all sorts of things that were simply not true.
So you weren't dreadfully upset, because that's what we had initially heard, that you were terribly upset about it. I was just curious. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I don't even know who started that rumor. I heard about it at 7:20 in the morning. I got up out of bed. I made a cup of coffee, watched the video, contacted my board of directors and said, here's what I'm going to issue as a press release, and they said, yep, that's good. And I've been kind of matter of fact about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Did you speak to Joe Biden or his campaign before or after that video ran?
They called, Joe Biden himself called me at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. That was the first I spoke to him or any of his people. And we didn't even talk particularly about the ad. I did say, I saw you didn't mention her name, and I assumed that's because you hadn't contacted me. And he said yes. And I said, that's fine. And I mean, the issue is about hate. It's not about HETER. Mm-hmm. So very much we can remember HETER as someone who dealt with the hate, but I mean, this is someone running for office who has addressed an issue that needs to be brought up. So
what would you like to see politicians do to prevent this type of future attack?
I don't know. It's a complex issue. We have to deal with the root causes of it, which is a great long history of racial disparity and inequity in Charlottesville. The black population in Charlottesville has been dealing with this for some time, and they still continue to grapple with these issues. Not a lot has changed in the state of Virginia, in the country, or in Charlottesville.
You know, Susan, you say this is such a complicated issue. And when we talk about it loosely, when you see an attack like this, it just doesn't seem like people have solutions. And with someone who experienced such a significant loss as losing your child over this, it just seems, how do we not talk around each other, and how do we move forward in a productive manner?
Well, if I knew that, I might run for office myself.
There's always a chance.
No.
No, you're shutting the door on that,
no. Huh? I do think that we have to talk. I think avoiding talking about uncomfortable issues is not okay. I love what the current mayor of Charlottesville, Nakia Walker, has said, is that we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that's very true.
Susan Bro, I want to thank you so much for clearing the air about this Biden video and for joining us for your thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me.